Thank you very much, students. Welcome to this session. This presentation is organized by Guerrilla International Seminary for those students who have completed their coursework and doing their research dissertation. In this presentation, my name is Dr.Temesgen Abiyo, Doctor of Philosophy of Educational Policy and Leadership. You can find my email address from the presentation. So the outline of this presentation is, one is about the concept of scientific research. The second point is about phases of scientific research. And the third phase is about organization of scientific research. Today's presentation will be divided into two sessions. The first session will be about the preliminary session, and the second session is about the problem and its approach. The second session will be about review of the related literature, how you are going to review literature. The other point is about how you are going to develop research methodology for your study. The other point is about data presentation, data analysis and interpretation. The last chapter of our presentation will be about research findings, conclusive remark, and recommendation. Finally, we will try to see about some points about the formatting of the research. When we come to about research, scientific research is simply review of facts, laws, and theories to get new ideas, new facts. Therefore, scientific research is a kind of continuous activity which is searching for knowledge, improving understanding, and improving about the reality of what you are going to conduct. To this end, scientific research needs systematic process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting information in order to increase our understanding or a problem under study. Therefore, selecting and defining research topic is the first step in applying scientific research method. Where do research topics or problem come from? You can find research topics from three alternatives. The first one is theories or organized body of concepts or generalizations and principles. The second phase is about personal experience, from your experience, from work experience. The third one is replication. That means replication doesn't mean that duplication of the same thing, but doing the same thing for finding another or new facts in your area of study. What are some of the characteristics of good topics? One is interesting. Dear students, don't try to conduct a research on a problem which is identified by somebody else. It needs your interest throughout the entire research process. You need to be interested on the research topic in order to get the truth, in order to dig in depth about the problem under study. Second point is researchable. It has to be a kind of research that can be investigated. It needs to add something on the existing knowledge. So, researchable means a kind of topic which you are expected to collect data and analyze facts in order to get new findings. The other point is significant. That means who will get benefit from your study? Who are beneficiaries? Students, church, government, organization, local community. Who benefited from your research? What is significant of the research topic? Another issue is it has to be manageable. That means feasibility. Feasibility means it fits your level of skills, it fits available resources and time restriction. So scientific research has 3 phases. The first phase is initial phase. The second phase is middle phase. And the third phase is final phase. What does it mean by initial phase, middle phase, and final phase? We shall see turn by turn. When you talk about initial phase, the initial phase includes 1, the preliminary reading before identifying and defining the research problem. It needs pilot reading. It needs preliminary reading. It needs you in order to immerse on some area of knowledge. Then you have to review detailed literature. You have to just go through with different kinds of literature. Then you need to identify the problem. Under the initial case, again, you need to formulate research hypothesis or develop basic questions or guiding questions which restrict you from the beginning up to the end of the research work. The other point is you are expected to develop a kind of hypothesis. That means in focus. This hypothesis need to be confirmed or disconfirmed at the end of what? Your research work. The other issue is about what we call it about designing procedure and the methods. Another issue is about developing research proposal. These are some of the points that you are expected to address under the under the initial point of the work. The other point is about at this phase, that means at the phase of initial phase, you are expected to answer some 4 questions. The first question is why you have decided to do this research. Secondly, how can you remain interested in your research up to the end of your work? The other point is what personal characteristics do you have in order to complete your work? That means research work. The final point is what skills and experience do you have in your research? So you are expected to answer these questions first before you are going to conduct a research. Second point is about the middle phase. This middle phase consists of 3 major activities. The first activity is developing or adopting data gathering tools. After writing the first phase, after knowing the problem, after identifying the topic, then the next point is developing or adopting data gathering tools. These data gathering tools must be tested first. This testing should be what? For validity and the reliability of the what? The instrument that you are going to use. This validity and reliability means the validity is accuracy of your parameter or your data gathering tools. Reliability is the consistency of your material when you collect data from the population as per your period of gathering the tool. Therefore, second point is about gathering data. The first one is developing tool. Second one is checking that tool, whether it is accurate and whether it is consistent. The third point is under the middle phase is about gathering data. Final point is data analysis, presentation, and interpretation. Under this final phase, you are also expected to identify major findings, conclusive remark, and recommendation. What does it mean by data analysis? What does it mean by presentation? What does it mean by interpretation? And what does it mean by findings, conclusion, and recommendation will be described under the next phase. What are some of the components of academic writing? After having this, after identifying the conceptual framework of what we call it, the research, scientific research method, and after knowing your 3 phases of this research writing, what are some of the academic writing components? These academic writing components may vary from writers to writers, may vary from institution to institution, but most of the scholars agree with some common scientific outline of research writing. But most scholars agree with some common outline of scientific research writing format. The outlines includes, one is the preliminary session. The preliminary session. What does it mean by this preliminary session? We'll come back. Second one is chapter 1. That is the problem and its approach. Chapter 2